carriers. In this video, we are focusing on an ultra-large crude tanker. Let's take a closer look at the main parts of this vessel. Pipeline systems are used to load and discharge oil, water, gas, and many other purposes. There is a helicopter landing pad. Cranes are used for transporting heavy equipment on and off the ship. Mast risers are connected to the cargo tanks below. They are designed to release pressure that builds up inside the cargo tanks during the loading or unloading of oil. The accommodation area is where the crew members stay, eat, and sleep. This is the control room. Emergency escape boats are used for the crew members to escape in life-threatening situations. Now let's take a look inside the hull. The oil cargo tanks store crude oil for transportation. Water ballast tanks provide stability for the vessel. In the aft of the vessel, there are heavy fuel oil and marine gas oil tanks that are used to power the ship. A sludge tank stores waste from the treatment system. There is also a freshwater tank. In between all these tanks of different types of liquid, there are empty spaces called the cofferdom. And down here is the engine room. This is the pump room. The crew working on this gigantic vessel can number around 30 people. Not all oil tankers have the exact same design. Many ships might have parts located in different spots, but in this animation, this is the basic design principle. A large crude oil tanker has multiple oil cargo tanks, primarily to avoid free surface effects. Sometimes the sea can be rough, just like in this scenario. If an oil tanker has only one giant tank to carry oil cargo, it will face free surface effect. When the liquid inside a tank moves from side to side, it generates forces that impact the side of the hull. If the impact to one side of the hull is too strong, it can cause the ship to capsize. To solve this problem, oil tankers have multiple smaller tanks. When the liquid moves, the impact is divided into smaller sections, reducing the impact on one side of the hull. This provides more stability for the vessel. All oil tankers with a length above 120 meters are required to be double-hulled. The double hull is designed to protect the oil cargo tanks from external damages. In a single-hulled ship, if the hull is shredded or cracked by any external impacts, it can result in oil leakage into the ocean, endangering marine life and polluting the environment. The space between the hull and oil cargo tanks are used as water ballast tanks. When not carrying oil, the tank doesn't have enough weight to counter the buoyancy and will easily be moved by the waves. Without stability, it will be difficult for crew members to work and live. To be well stabilized, the bottom part of the vessel needs to be submerged under the water by filling the water ballast tanks. When oil is loaded, the ballast tank will discharge its water back to the sea to keep the ship from being too heavily loaded. All ships are required to have a water treatment system. It is important because when a ship pumps seawater into the ballast tanks from one location and carries it to another location, it might potentially bring unwanted microorganisms and bacteria. Before discharging water back to the sea in a new location, the water needs to be treated to kill all the harmful bacteria. Cofferdom. It is a space which is used to separate different liquid tanks of different types. When two tanks of different liquid types share the same wall, and if there is a crack or leak, two types of liquid will end up spilled out and mixing with each other. That's why with the cofferdam separating two tanks apart, it creates a space for fixing the leak without contaminating the other tank. Let's take a look at how oil is loaded into the cargo tanks. When loading oil, weight distribution is very important to consider. If weight distribution is uneven, it can result in an unwanted accident. For example, if there is too much weight on one side, the vessel will lose its balance. To avoid this accident, oil has to be loaded evenly each time. There is a jumble of pipes here, so let's simplify it and focus on the oil loading pipes only. This pipeline is used to load and discharge oil in and out of the cargo tank. This part is called a manifold, and oil enters here. A pump is used to push the oil through a bell mouth, where the oil comes out into the tanks from the bottom to the top. For example, in this model, there are 15 oil cargo tanks. The first pipeline will load oil into these 5 tanks to ensure that the weight is evenly distributed. The second pipe will load oil into these 5 tanks, and the third pipe will load oil into the last 5 tanks. 3 sections represented by 3 different colors for easy view in this animation. In reality, crude oil is black. With this design, it doesn't matter which pipeline is used to load or unload oil first, as the weight will still be distributed evenly. Oil cargo tanks are also equipped with heating coils to reduce viscosity for easy pumping. Oil tankers use a device called loading arms to load or discharge oil. During offshore oil loading, the tanker receives oil directly from the subsea pipeline using a buoy and floating hoses. If an oil tanker is too large to get close to a dock, it will transfer the oil to a smaller tanker to carry it to the dock.
Thank you for watching. If you find this